spot, bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge meets his nephews all lean in, breaking down fights, codes that daddy's supreme on. Just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man, dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged, from the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick, hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man, dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls deep predictions, he be making those calls, getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jabs to takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight Night Kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday afternoon. Tomorrow night, we've got UFC 313 that's going to be headlined by Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Going to be a great fight. They finally let Alex Pereira step into the octagon with somebody that could wrestle their way out of a paper bag. Going to be a very interesting dynamic in that fight, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that fight and several others play out. But today what we're going to do here is I'm going to take you through a very quick full card breakdown. Normally, this would be the first free content I'd be doing on YouTube on this channel for the week, but I did put out a free episode of Balls Deep Breakdowns, which is a show that I do every week for my Odds Shopper subscribers. I do 4 hours worth of subscriber-only content every week. The first show that I do is Balls Deep Breakdowns. That's 2 hours where I take you through my fight write-ups on every fight on the card, and we talk about who we think is going to win. We talk about a lot of the stylistic components of the fights, and I read in the summary that I break down the fight and give you a fight pick, and we do that for all the picks, and then we give you a dog pick of the week and Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. And what I normally do is I'll put that out on Wednesday for my subscribers, but I'll also just give the picks out for free on Friday after the weigh-ins. So, but earlier this week, because it's a pay-per-view event and because I'm shifting over my business from Dub Club and Patreon over to Odds Shopper exclusively, I wanted to just put it out there for free and show you guys what kind of subscriber content you get when you subscribe to the Uncle Weezy's Probability UFC Stats and Content package. There is a link in the description of this video for 20% off your first month. Use the code NEW20 at checkout, and it's going to get you access to my fight write-ups, the stats packages that I send out for every single card, Balls Deep Breakdowns, Probability. There's 6 to 7 page fight write-ups for every fight on every card, and then you're going to get access to the Discord chat room, all my tracked bets, and get to look at this fantastic content and all the statistical analysis that comes along with it. So check that out, 20% off your first month's membership to that package, and it's $25 a month. So I'm hoping that some of you guys will come along and join me there, and we'll make some money betting on UFC fights together. But today what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through a very, very quick full card breakdown, just because we already did it on Balls Deep Breakdowns, and you guys can already access it for free on my YouTube channel. It came out Wednesday night. So I'll give you a very quick full card breakdown. I'm going to give you my dog pick of the week, Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, and then we're going to do a Greasy 4-leg parlay with a little bit of meat on the bone here, because all of these books are offering 4-leg boosts for parlays. So I found something that I really like this week, and I think it's going to hit, So I'm looking to cash that parlay as well as the probability parlay that we gave out on probability this week, to take this job and shove it parlay, which is coming out as better than 88 to 1 right now. And I got it capped at much, much, much better than that. So we're looking forward to hopefully cashing that one as well. But I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Say what's up to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys hanging out live. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you really do enjoy this work and you want to support me and support the work that I put out there for the UFC community every single week relating to statistics and breakdowns of fights, click that link in the description of the video to the odds shopper. Get 20% off your first month subscription. And that's the best way to help your Uncle Weezy out if you appreciate the work that I do here on YouTube for free for you guys. So I'm going to share my screen with you here. And we're going to talk about all the fights on this card really quickly. And then we're going to just break down all of these fights. And then we're going to do a dog pick, an ass shaving pick. And then we're going to give you the four-leg parlay. So first fight of the night, it's going to be Diaz versus Jordan Santos. Frankly, I'm not much of a believer of either of these guys right now. I want to see how they perform at the UFC level against UFC level competition, but I think of this still as like a little bit of a regional scene type of fight. You got an LFA champion here in Diaz moving back down to middleweight after he had a few fights up at 205. Jordan Santos is a guy who crushed cans on the regional scene, then had a pretty good performance versus Will Curry on Dana White's Contender Series, but Will looked awful in that fight. So, yeah, that's what we're going with there. We're going with an Diaz second round knockout. I think he's got a little bit of a strength to schedule advantage. I've seen him in there several times against noticeable regional scene MMA names. So I just think that because we got a little bit more of a noticeable body of work from Diaz, and not only at middleweight, but also at light heavyweight, and that he's shown the ability to finish his fights, I can count on him not just being the one potentially to possibly finish the fight, but also the one to maybe land the bigger shots on the feet. So going with Diaz to win the fight by second round knockout. Next fight, Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Castaneda was supposed to fight last week against Douglas Silva de Andrade. Andrade had a bad weight cut, so Gutierrez was supposed to be fighting somebody this week. That person pulled out, so Gutierrez needed a new opponent. Castaneda needed a new opponent. They're doing this one at featherweight at 145, and both of these guys are going to have the opportunity to not cut all the way down to 135 for this fight. And yeah, we're going with the John Castaneda decision. I think that this fight is going to play out very close. I don't see a lot of edge on the money line right now, so I think I'm going to stay away from betting this fight. I think the overs are good, but they're definitely overpriced according to my model. But it's something that if you throw in a parlay, it probably hits, and it probably gives you a little bit of a boost in value this week. So I like a Castaneda decision because I think he can mix in the wrestling. I think he could potentially land the bigger shots on the feet. And if he pressures, and if he gets Gutierrez on the back feet and makes Gutierrez move laterally, and tries to get inside of boxing range instead of playing at kicking range with him, which are things that I see from Castaneda on tape, I think he's going to do enough to get his hand raised here. And I do think that his ability to be able to mix in the wrestling could potentially bank him a round or two as well here. So looking for a John Castaneda decision in that fight. Next fight, Myron Santos coming off his UFC debut win over Con Offley is a -310 favorite, going up against Francis the Fire Marshall plus 260 underdog. Fight doesn't go, sitting at plus 130 here. I think this Santos kid's pretty good. Good stand-up, solid enough takedown defense, good power on the feet, good pressure on the feet, and he shows a pretty good chin as well. So I think that what we saw from him in the Ultimate Fighter house against I forget what the kid's name was, the Mexican kid with the Olympic tattoo, and then there was the tall black kid Cooper that he fought. Both those guys are wrestlers. Both those guys tried to wrestle Myron Santos, and I think both of those guys have more of a wrestling pedigree than Francis Marshall does. So it was good to see Santos be able to win those fights, even though the fight against Cooper was very close. Santos showed some solid takedown defense, the ability to not absorb damage and work his way back to the feet. Sometimes it took longer than others, but he was able to limit damage and land the bigger shots on the feet and get the nod on the judges' scorecards. So, I think that this is going to be a similarly dirty fight. I think Francis is going to be shooting takedowns. I think he is going to be cage wrestling here. And I think that Francis can keep this fight kind of close. But while it's on the feet at distance striking range, I really like Myron to land the bigger shots, to land the heavier shots, to get Francis backing up. And if he can do that, I think he's going to do enough to win this fight. I could see a Francis Marshall submission happening. I could see a Myron Santos knockout happening, but I am picking Myron Santos to win this fight by decision. Next fight, Carlos Leal versus Alex Morono. Leal is a massive favorite here. I like the overs in this fight. Alex Morono is a guy who's been over 1.5 rounds in something like 17 of 22 UFC fights. He's a pretty durable guy. And while Carlos Leal is a pretty hard hitter, he's definitely somebody who's got a lot of knockouts on his resume. He's not like this one punch crazy, remove you from your consciousness the type of striker. So while I think Leal is going to win this fight, I think it's going to be in the second half of the fight. And I could see him winning a decision here. There seems to be some value on Carlos Leal's decision prop, according to prior performances from Alex Morono here, who's a lot of people are writing off as completely washed, but he's not at an age where he's washed yet. He's just very experienced against a ton of UFC level competition. And I think that Leal's money line at -800 is a little bit out of hand at these prices. So I think a good way to kind of make some money on this fight, while somewhat shorting the Leal side, is to say that he gets it done in the second half of the fight. So I think I like an over 1.5 here. I like Carlos Leal to win in round 3 or by decision or even late in round 2. And I think that there's a lot of value on the overs and the decision props in this fight. But I'm picking Carlos Leal to win by second round knockout. But I think it's going to be attritional. I think it's going to come in the second half of the fight. So that's the pick there. A fight that I'm pretty much staying away from, though, except for to maybe bet the over 1.5 rounds. Next fight, Armen Petrosyan versus Bruno Ferreira. I got Petrosyan here winning this one by decision. I like Petrosyan a decent amount here. Bruno is not somebody I think is going to be able to have a ton of success grappling here. And Armen is a competent enough kickboxer, I believe, to win the minutes at range without getting bonked. What he got hit with by Shara was a total fluke. And I think that, obviously Shara Magomedov is a much, much better kickboxer than Bruno Ferreira is. So I think Bruno is going to be out there switching stances. And I think he's going to be confusing himself more than he confuses Petrosyan. I think Petrosyan is just going to be throwing certain attacks when Bruno's southpaw, and then throwing other attacks when he's orthodox, and probably going to get into a better rhythm than Ferreira will be able to, because I think Petrosyan's pretty fairly defensively sound, and that Ferreira is he's going to have a hard time closing the distance against the much taller, much longer guy with great kicks and distance management. So I like Petrosyan to win here and do it the way he normally does, by scoring points, by staying safe, and by managing the distance. So I think Petrosyan by decision is his most likely path here, and I like that. I like that call quite a bit, you guys. Next fight is going to be Ray Saruya versus Josh Van. I got Josh Van knocking this fool out in the second round. Really like Josh Van's takedown defense and get-up game, you guys. I don't think he's going to voluntarily engage in the grappling here. I think Saruya is going to have to get really creative to try to find some ways to get into dominant positions on the mat here. And I think if he does that, he's going to actually wind up below Josh Van and getting ground and pounded. And I think that Josh, being 5'4", not with long limbs, not with long legs, being very stocky for the flyweight weight class, it's much more difficult to grapple dudes like that. Like you try to take down a fire hydrant. Go outside, go find your nearest fire hydrant and try to take that thing down. And then come back here and let your Uncle Weezy know how that went. It's difficult. We saw Cody struggle with it. We saw Felipe Bunis get a takedown, but he was unable to do anything with it. And these guys are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts that can absolutely find submissions on the mat and get to your back. I think that this is going to be a similar situation, but with Ray, you've got a big time step up in competition for him here. Carlos Hernandez is a really good fighter, tall and long for the division of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but Carlos loves to scramble. And he was kind of voluntarily engaging in those scrambles rather than just saying, okay, he got a takedown. I'm going to get an underhook. I'm going to back up to the fence and I'm going to stand up. I think that's what Josh is going to do. And this fight is not going to be anywhere close when it's on the feet. Josh is going to be walking Ray Saruya down, putting him on the back foot. He's going to be going to the body, which is a great way to frustrate wrestlers. And we know that that's probably the most effective part of Josh Van's attack is his ability to be able to attack the body with his boxing in the pocket. So I think Josh Van is not only going to win this fight, I think he's going to win it violently. I think he's going to knock out Ray Saruya in the second or third round here, and I'm picking him to win this one inside the distance. The next fight is going to be Curtis Blaydes going up against Rizvan Big Riz Kuniev. We got Curtis Blaydes is ranked number 5 in the UFC's heavyweight division. He's minus 300, and Big Riz is making his UFC debut here. So getting the number 5 ranked guy in the division in your UFC debut, I think speaks volumes about what the UFC brass thinks the upside is on Rizvan Kuniev. This is too much too soon, in my opinion. Curtis is the better boxer. He's probably the better wrestler. He's definitely faced the better brand of competition. He's the more active fighter with more UFC experience, more overall experience, and a massive strength of schedule advantage here. But Rizvan Kuniev has got a very good clinch game. He's a competent wrestler in his own right. He's shown pretty good cardio in the fights that I've seen from him. So I think these guys are well matched, and I don't think that they're going to knock each other out on the feet. I don't think that Blaydes is going to be able to take down Kuniev and get to dominant positions and finish with ground and pound. But I do think that Blaydes will win the minutes on the feet at distance striking range, and I think that Blaydes is the more likely guy to wind up on top if there are wrestling exchanges here, win the minutes on top. So I'm picking Curtis Blaydes, but I think this fight is going to go over. And I like Curtis Blaydes to win this one by decision. The next fight, Mauricio Huffy going up against King Green. I've got Huffy winning this fight by second round knockout. King Green is a guy that's very dangerous to bet against as a giant underdog, and there's a lot of variance in his fights. He will blow it as a big favorite. He'll cash as a big underdog. He'll wrestle when you think he should box. He'll box when you think he should wrestle. King Green is a very frustrating guy to bet on or against. And, I just think that's a good enough reason to stay away from this fight. But I think a lot of people are down on Huffy right now because he was unable to finish Fat Yontop. But Fat Yontop is the Peruvian Homer Simpson, you guys. He's equally as obese as Homer Simpson, and he can take just as much of a beating. So I think that Huffy is going to find that one shot that ends the fight here. And I think he probably finds it in the first or the second round. Guy's very precise, very accurate. And as somebody that does prefer to counter, a high volume striker like Bobby Green, who keeps his hands down, who relies on reflexes, who relies on speed and defensive head movement to stay safe, shoulder rolling, head, rolling with punches, whether it's with the shoulders or with the head. He's somebody who needs that athleticism and that reflex time to be working. And against somebody that's as accurate and fast and powerful as Mauricio Huffy, and we see Green, at 38 years of age, 50 professional fights, coming off a couple of bad finish losses in the Paddy Pimblett fight and the Jalen Turner fight. I think that Huffy not only gets the job done here, but gets it done impressively. I like Huffy inside the distance. I like Huffy by KO. I think that those hit this week, and I think he's going to knock out King Green this week, you guys. Next fight, Amanda Lemos going up against Yasmin Lucindo. I'm picking Lemos here to win. Lemos is the much better striker, and I don't think that there's a massive chance that Yasmin Lucindo is going to out-grapple Amanda Lemos here. So I like Lemos to flat out win, even though she's an underdog. I'm going to have money on her money line, and I'm also betting the. I also already bet the fight doesn't go to decision here at plus 190 for 1 unit. I think Amanda Lemos knocks out Yasmin Lucindo, but I do think that Lucindo actually has some upside in terms of her grappling. She's got a pretty opportunistic submission game, and we've seen Amanda Lemos be submitted before. So I do think that this fight finishes inside the distance, but I think Lemos is going to win the minutes on the feet, and I think the grappling exchanges are going to be close here. I think Lemos knows that she needs to stay out of the clinch, stay out of the body lock, which is how Yasmin gets her takedowns. And if she's able to do that, I just don't think that Yasmin can match the power that Lemos has on the feet. Lemos has very rare power for the division. You just don't see a lot of it at this weight class, and Amanda owns that power, and it's still there. It's the last thing to go amongst professional athletes. So I think people are looking at the 14-year age difference and mistaking, the fact that Lucindo's doing it against lower level competition when you look at Amanda Lemos and who she's been fighting lately. I think this is going to be a massive step down in competition for her and a much easier stylistic matchup than her last several opponents. So I like Amanda Lemos here to win, and I think she's going to knock her out in the second round. Next fight, Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. This is a great fight, and I really don't know who's going to win this fight, but I'm picking Jalen Turner for a couple of different reasons. I think he's got a little bit more power on the feet. I think he's probably got a little bit of an upside in the grappling game in terms of minute winning and potential moment winning with submissions. While both of these guys have got good submission games, Jalen Turner's done a good job with being, club and sub, forcing people to shoot on him and then using those long limbs in order to lock up chokes. But, Bahamondes can do the same thing. But I think the major reason that I went with Turner in this fight was that this guy was a minus 270 favorite against Renato Moicano. He was a minus 300 favorite versus Dan Hooker. And now he's a plus 110 underdog against a guy that I think Moicano probably beats and Hooker probably beats in Ignacio Bahamondes. So I think that we're seeing a short-term swing in the pricing of a Jalen Turner money line that makes him a much bigger discount than he's been in recent fights against better competition. So I think that this is potentially an opportunity to take advantage of some negative recency bias on the Turner side when, frankly, he almost finished Renato Moicano, and if he had just shown better fight IQ and had followed up there, he probably wins that fight. The Dan Hooker fight was a very close fight that could have went either way, but I could see that fight going the same way. Like if Turner wins the first half of this fight but doesn't get Bahamondes out of there, we know Bahamondes has got a heart as big as a truck. We know that this dude has got absolutely no quit in him, and we know that this guy's got a serious chin on him too. So, I think that there are paths to victory for both guys. I could see this thing going the full 15 minutes. I could see it finishing inside the distance. I could see either guy getting a knockout. I could see either guy getting a submission. So this is a fight that I'm just going to enjoy as a fan because it's easily one of the most fan-friendly fights on the card, if not the most fan-friendly. And I'm going to pick Jalen Turner to win by a club and sub submission. But like I said, you guys, I mean, it's almost like flip a coin on this fight. So I think the value might be on the Turner side, but I can't wait to see how this one plays out. It's a phenomenal fight. Ignacio Bahamondes, Chicago guy. Valley Flow Striking is a local Chicago gym, the best in the area. So it's going to be good to see the Chicago guy getting out there representing for Chile, representing for Chicago, representing for VFS. Can't wait for this fight. Next fight, Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. I got Gaethje winning here. I got him winning a decision just like in the last fight. I've never been a big fan of Fiziev. I think he's been massively overrated by the market, in my opinion. This guy's got a very limited skill set. He's somewhat of a low-volume striker, doesn't have a lot of power on the feet, and has got very little grappling upside at all. And I think that he got a lot of good wins against guys that were kind of on their way out. And when he took that step up to Gaethje, he was listed as a big favorite. I remember I was one of the only cappers that picked Gaethje that week at like plus 180, plus 190. And yeah, he won the fight, close fight. But I think the footage of Gaethje face down after that knockout against Holloway is being blown a little bit out of proportion. Don't forget, Rafael Fiziev's on an 18-month layoff. He's taking this fight on less than 2 weeks' notice and having to fly halfway around the world to do that. Now, Gaethje was training for a 5-round fight against Dan Hooker, and now he's got a 3-round fight against the guy that's going to have massive ring rust, a guy who's already kind of low volume and known for not having great conditioning and being able to push a pace for 3 full rounds. And so I think Gaethje's going to get the job done here. I've got 1 unit on Gaethje to win by decision at plus 375. And I might add on with a little bit of money line here because I think we could even see a little bit of wrestling here now from Justin, because maybe Trevor Whitman got in his ear and said, maybe we don't want to get knocked out like you did anymore. And a great way to not get knocked out is to start using that D1 wrestling background you have in order to win some minutes on the mat. I think it's a possibility. It's a low possibility, but I think if there is any grappling upside here, it's going to be on the Gaethje side. And I'm picking him to win this fight by decision, which brings us to the main event of the evening. I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more money coming in on the Pereira side. I'm picking Ankalaev to win this fight by 3rd round knockout. I think it's going to be a ground and pound knockout. I think Magomed's going to stand with him for a little bit, but then I think he's going to realize that there's a very easy path to victory in this fight. And you take this guy down and you get to a half guard and you pound his head through the canvas. I don't think it's going to be very difficult for him to do that. I think once Magomed starts to wrestle and get on top here, he's going to make this look easy. In addition, while this fight is on the feet, I think Magomed Ankalaev is actually going to be very, very competitive in the distance striking exchanges here. He's the younger man. And I think Pereira having to worry about the threat of the wrestling in this fight, like he's really never had to do in the UFC before, is gonna take a little bit of sting off of his offense. It's gonna make him throw a little bit less volume. So I like Magomed to win this fight. I have a 1.5 unit bet on his money line at minus 104. And I'm going to be looking to add on probably with a half unit onto his KO prop at about plus 360. Really like that number. And I do think once Magomed gets on top of Alex, that he's going to have a very good chance to finish the fight with ground and pound. So yeah, those are the picks, you guys. Ankalaev, 2nd round KO. I got Gaethje here as a dog. I got Turner as a dog. I got Lemos as a dog. I got Huffy and Blaydes as favorites. Van is a favorite. Petrosyan's a favorite. Leal's a favorite. Santos favorite. Castaneda right around to pick them. And Diaz as a dog. So that's going to bring us to the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week. And this week, it's going to be Amanda Lemos at about a little bit better than now than plus 120. Like I said, I've already got a bet on the fight doesn't go to decision here. And I'm going to be adding on with 1 or 1.5 units on the Amanda Lemos money line. But I'm just kind of waiting to see if I can get a little bit better of a price here. So this is going to be a bit of a problem because if Lucindo wins a decision, then I'm going to be out 2 to 2.5 units. But I think that's a risk that I have to take here. I don't necessarily think that Lucindo is going to win a ton of minutes in this fight. I think Lemos has most of the finishing upside here, which I like. And when you've got most of the finishing upside, it's usually safe to say that you're going to be the one landing the more impactful strikes on the feet. And that's what I expect from Lemos. So I like the fact that we're getting her at plus money. I like the fact that Lemos has a massive strength of schedule advantage. And I like the fact that if this fight stays on the feet for long, that Lemos is going to be very live, not just to win the fight, but to knock out Yasmin Lucindo here. So like fight doesn't go to decision here at big plus money. And I like the Lemos money line at plus money. And if Lemos gets a finish via KO tomorrow, it's going to be a very nice, profitable fight for me. But yeah, that is the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week, which leaves us with one order of business left in the week. And it is Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Now, you guys already know who it is because we gave it out on Balls Deep Breakdowns, and I'm going with Josh Van to shave the ass of Ray Saruya. I said it out loud after the Durden fight when I had a bet on Durden for 1 unit, I believe at like plus 140 or something like. I mean, it was a good price. I forgot what I got Durden at, and I liked it. And after that fight, I said I am done fading Josh Van against grapplers. I think he's shored up the takedown defense, and I know that this guy's striking is phenomenal. I know that his durability is very good. I love the forward pressure, and the conditioning is awesome. So when you have that combination of attributes, it's something that I'm looking to back with my money, and Van has that. Now, this is a trickier matchup because Ray Saruya isn't your typical single leg, double leg guy. You know, he's got a lot of tricky, different type of entries. But, you know, like I think part of what goes along with that is the way that he grapples. He's always looking to get to the back and to get to these strange positions, going for leg locks and shit. You know, that's how you give up position. That's how you be, you know, submission over position here. And a guy like Josh, who has those short arms, those short legs, who's stocky and strong, who doesn't have much to hold on to, I think it's going to be difficult for Ray to find enough minutes of control time to avoid getting piped on sight when this fight is on the feet. So I think Van's going to pipe him on sight. I think he's going to shave his ass. As a matter of fact, in the Discord, I know we had this in this great graphic that my guy Ramora did for us here for the ass shaving of the week. I'm going to pull up my DMs with Brady here and bring the look at that graphic there. That's Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week there. And it is join us in betting on Joshua Van to shave the ass of Ray Saruya on tomorrow, you guys. Let's get it. Absolutely great fight. Phenomenal prospects, both below 25 years of age. But I think Josh Van's bringing out the razor. I think he's going to shave Ray Saruya's ass, and I think we're going to cash tickets at minus 170 and at plus 300 on the Josh Van KO prop. All right, you guys, we did it. Let's get to the Greasy 4-leg parlay for this week. So the leg number one that we're going to start with, as I was talking about this one, the over 1.5 rounds for Carlos Leal versus Alex Morono. We've got a 4-leg UFC 313 profit boost that we can opt into on DraftKings this week, you guys. So I suggest doing that with this parlay. And yeah, leg number one, the over 1.5 rounds at minus 205. I'm going to show you guys my betting model for this fight. And we're going to look at the over-under here that we see at minus 195, right? That is a 66% implied probability. Now, we're paying a little bit more than that. We're paying a little bit closer to 67%. But that is exactly the amount of UFC fights in this division that go over 1.5 rounds over the long-term trend. And what's very encouraging about this is that Alex Morono's had 22 fights at the UFC level. 17 of those 22 fights have went over 1.5 rounds. This is in the big cage in front of a live crowd. These are fights that tend to start a little bit slower than Apex fights do. So you've got a combined 18 of 23, or 78.26% of these guys' combined UFC fights have went over that 1.5 round mark. And at that's a 78% probability there of past performance, while we're only paying 66% on this over 1.5. So this is a great first leg. You know, I don't give Alex Morono a lot of finish upside against anybody early in fights unless he gets you in that guillotine of his. And Carlos Leal is somebody who, you know, is going to be working to get that finish a little bit later on. He's going to wear you down with the pressure. He's going to land some shots. He's going to back you up to the cage and then maybe unload with some combinations. But Morono is historically a pretty good defensive guy. He moves really well in that cage. We're in the big cage, so Alex is going to be able to move laterally. He's going to be able to set up his entries and look to be defensive. So I really like this over 1.5 as a first leg to kick us off here at minus 205 Leg number 2 is going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, the Joshua Van money line. We're throwing that in there at minus 170. That gets our 2-leg parlay up to plus 136 here. Obviously, we just talked about Josh. I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to win it violently. And I think that Saruya might even win 10 minutes of this fight if it does go to decision with his control time and his grappling. But if he's not landing ground and pound in that other 5 minutes that this fight spends on the feet, Van's going to be fucking this dude up and landing body shots and big jabs and big overhands. So I think Josh Van can even win the second and third rounds here on the judges' scorecards, even if he's getting out-controlled in those rounds and winning them with damage. So I like Van to win this fight. I think that people are overrating Ray Saruya's grappling offense here at the UFC level, and I think they're underrating Josh Van's power due to the fact that this guy has faced 3 of the most durable guys in the UFC. You look at guys like Borjas. You look at guys like Edgar Chairez. You look at guys like Charles Johnson and Cody Durden. You know, it's going to be very difficult to knock those dudes out. So I think Van is going to knock this dude out because there's a big striking differential here. And when he gets him on the back foot and he starts landing heavy body shots, I think it's going to be very quick before this thing is over. So looking for Josh Van to shave ass at minus 170. That brings our 2-leg parlay up to plus 136. Leg number 3. It's going to be the over 2.5 rounds in the co-main event here for Gaethje versus Fiziev. I think Gaethje's chin issues are being way overrated here, and I don't think Fiziev's a very powerful striker. And I think that Gaethje does have good power on the feet, obviously, but I think that Fiziev, being a guy who can manage range well with his kicks, is going to stay safe at range and be able to not avoid or be able to avoid, taking the big shot, the fight-ending shot. So I like minus 130 here for the over 2.5. That fattens up our parlay, gets us up to plus 318 for 3 legs. And the last leg is going to be the main event. And I think that this fight is finishing inside the distance. Look, if Ankalaev is getting takedowns, I think he's going to ground and pound finish this guy, because Pereira's he's not a black belt, you guys. He's been awarded a black belt, but there are scumbag politicians that are getting awarded degrees, honorary degrees at universities that would never let somebody that's stupid study there. Honorary black belt. That's what it is, you guys. The guy's a white belt on the ground, and we're going to see it when Ankalaev takes him down. But if Ankalaev fights stupid, if he gets lazy and just wants to wait for that big straight left hand down the pipe that he thinks he's going to knock Pereira out with, Pereira might shut down his calf. Pereira might land that big nuclear left hook that can knock out anybody, that could finish anybody's night. So even though I'm pretty confident that Magomed Ankalaev wins this fight, and I've got a bet on his money line at minus 104, and I'm going to be adding on with the KO prop at plus 350, plus 360. I do think that this fight finishes inside the distance. I think this is a phenomenal parlay leg this week. So we're going to make that leg number 4, the Ankalaev Pereira fight doesn't go to decisions. We're going to go to fight props here. Go to minus 200 there. That brings this 4-leg parlay up to plus 527 on DraftKings Sportsbook. And I'm looking to cash this thing. We only hit 2 out of 4 legs last week, but Charles Johnson was really close in a loss. And, I thought Esteban Ribovics won the fight. So I think he was really close in a loss too. So we were really close. So I'm looking to cash this thing at plus 527. But if you're doing this on DraftKings, you're going to get something like a 25% profit boost on this and get something better than plus 600. So let's cash this thing together, you guys. Let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks for UFC 313. And if you're interested in getting access to all my betting models for over-unders, for prop bets, all the matchup stats, all the individual stats with all of the DFS information for DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, and Underdog. Only $25 a month, and I'll give you 20% off your first month's membership over at oddsshopper.com. You can find me. Put it up here. Yeah, you can find me right here, Uncle Weezy. If you go to Find Insiders here on Odds Shopper, and you go to MMA boxing and you scroll down to right here, Uncle Weezy, bam, you can click there and you can sign up right here for 1 month and use the code NEW20, NEW20, to receive $20 or 20% off your first month membership. Get it for $20 a month instead of $25. Come join me, support the work. Would appreciate anybody that came along and supported the work, and we can make some money together, because you're going to be able, even if you don't use my picks, you're going to be able to use my models. You're going to be able to use my stats, my benchmarks, my betting models, all that stuff to make better decisions, find better prices, and be a better long-term gambler with a higher ROI. What's going on with you guys in the chat here? We got a lot of people in here today. Love it. Love it. We got Olajuwon Dream saying, oh, yes. What's up, dude? We got, who's getting their dick sawed tonight? It's going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be Ray Saruya, you guys. Robert saying, trust me, fam. Ank will dominate. Alex had a good run, but it's all over. Weezy, great content. Thank you. I agree with you, Robert. I think it's going to be a good night for Magomed Ankalaev tomorrow night. Let's get this parlay, says my guy Lucas Olzawi. And he's saying, I haven't had any good year MMA bets. Well, we're going to try to turn that around this week, my friend. We got Mushroom Sneak watching at work. Smash the like, he says. He's here to support. Always appreciate you, Mushroom. We got McMuffin saying, ayo, what's up, dude? We got Frozen Ocelot saying, I can't wait to laugh at the casuals who are betting on Ankalaev. I'm one of them, my friend. It's going to be a great fight, though, and I'm looking for violence either way. I think that this thing's going to finish inside the distance. And now Ank is plus 110. Yikes. I knew that public money would come in, but I still needed to get that. I still needed to get those bets down, just so my people knew, I'm not seeing plus 110. I'm seeing plus 102 on my bookie, minus 105 here. It does seem to be bouncing around back and forth for sure. All right, LaFlop James saying, if anything happens in 1995, Kurt Russell, I can sleep well at night knowing we have Uncle Weezy as a backup. Those are very kind words, and I am appreciative of them. Huge Kurt Russell fan, one of the most underrated actors of my generation. He's been in so many classics, and he's such a fantastic actor, and he doesn't seem like one of those regular Hollywood douchebags like the rest of them. So appreciate that, man. I'm not betting against Poetan with the primary striker like Jiri, Hill, Roundtree, but I will with someone who has the grappling upside. But LaFlop saying that Ank is allergic to wrestling, and I think he might be, man. We got Olajuwon saying he better have some good wrestling allergy-riddled medicine for this fight. Horrible game plan to have a 25-minute striking fight with one of the best and most powerful strikers in the organization. I couldn't agree more. Saying that he has to mix in the wrestling if he wants to win, and that he believe he will. And if you're your Ank's coach, you got to be hammering that in his head. My guy Ramora saying Pereira in 3. David saying, enjoy your lunch, Weezy. I did, man. I had a nice meatball sandwich from Potbelly's. Quite good, dude. Sam saying, honestly, the 15-minute delay was needed. My lunch wasn't ready for Uncle to break down the card. There you go, man. I'm glad it worked. And we got Fromage Frog in the room, the cheese frog, saying, thanks for the free Balls Deep breakdown this week. Your subs love your content. Happy Friday, Uncle Weezy. Appreciate you, Fromage Frog. You must be French then with a name like that. But yeah, appreciate you hanging out. And yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, look on the channel. You're going to get a free episode of Balls Deep breakdowns with me, your host, Uncle Weezy, breaking down this UFC 313 card in painstaking detail for every fight. So check that out for free on the YouTube channel. And if you like that and you think that $25 a month is reasonable to get that kind of show 4 times, or I should say 8 times a month when you include the probability show that you'll be getting as well, join me on the Odds Shopper. We got the Airig in the room saying, oi. We got Pores saying, Uncle Weezy, best of luck with your bets this weekend. Piped on site would make a great t-shirt. I mean, yeah, it would. And I mean, if you look here also at the Discord, I have to keep closing it because I'm getting so many notifications. But right here, no, wait. If I'm go to The on-site piping of the week we got right here. That's a good one. I don't have my screen shaved, but I like this one. Let me see. There we go. The on-site piping of the week. We got Josh Van to pipe Ray Saruya. I love it. And saying I'm lactose intolerant except for this Saturday because I'm hoping some guys I'm betting against get milked. And I think that Ray Saruya is one of them that's going to get milked. I think Yasmin Lucindo is going to get milked. I think Alex Pereira is going to get milked. And the High Owl's girlfriend loves the piped on sight line. I love it too. And he's saying, oi, which is the same thing that my guy Juan is saying. Oi, what's up, Juan? We got Kiwi Brew all the way from New Zealand saying, Chural, what is up, Kiwi? We've got Tehran Brown saying, what's up, Uncle? Oi, what's up, Tehran? My guy Martin Dermov, the money printer in the room saying, oi, what is up, Martin? We've got Billy Mann saying, oi. We got House of Pain Michael saying, oh, yeah, it's fine. What is up, Michael? Good to see you hanging out in here. And he's saying that there are flapjacks on stack for everyone this weekend. Let's hope that we pipe these bookies on site this week, you guys. I scream out piped on site right before I bust. My girlfriend loves it. That's good stuff, Pours Wolf. Go get it, my man. Appreciate you. We got AF Gun Lion saying, am I the only one who thinks this card is too 50-50? I have no solid reads for this card. There are a lot of 50-50 fights, in my opinion, and I agree with you on that. But I do like Ankalaev in a 50-50 fight, and I do like Amanda Lemos in a 50-50 fight, enough to bet on both of them. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking for this one. But a lot of these other ones, like, for instance, another very close fight is Bahamondes versus Turner, and I can't really get to one side or the other there. We got Antonio Esparza saying, oi, I'm on my way to my sister's house in Monticello, so this stream came on at the perfect time. Appreciate you for listening, Antonio. We got Giga Chat of NPCs saying, Guerrera will go live with Fagasanya after he gets brutally ground and wounded this week. Yeah, I mean, I think that's how the fight is going to take place. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, ground and pounded, yes. We got Angelo the Truth in the room saying, Unc, let's get this money. Let's get it, man. We got Tehran Brown saying, I don't understand why people are so high on Rafael Fiziev. Yeah, me too, man. Like, I know he's a good striker, but I mean, I don't think this guy's a top 5 talent. I just don't see it. You know, I might be wrong. He's still only 32 years old, so he could still make a run, but I don't get it either, Tehran. My guy, the MMA Husky Hustler in the room saying, Aroo, just like a husky, man. You got to love it. Northern Illinois University, the Harvard of the Midwest. What's their mascot? The Husky. We got the Husky Hustler with us. Good to see you hanging out. We got Tehran Brown saying, I believe Gaethje beats Fiziev. I'm with you there, man. I'm with you. We got my guy, Dan Levy, Half the Battle, saying, smash the like button, gentlemen. He did a great show with Yanni the Greek this weekend. Go check it out on Half the Battle on YouTube. Great show. I watched it. Shout out Yanni the Greek. Shout out Dan Levy. Good to see you hanging out in here, my man. We got Enlighten My Opinion saying, oi, from Illinois, my Uncle Weezy. How you feel about Ignacio sparring with Yair Rodriguez, a much shorter fighter than the Tarantula? Well, Yair Rodriguez is a very gifted striker who's just one weight class down. So I think that Bahamondes is sparring at one of the best gyms in the entire country in terms of great sparring partners, high-level sparring partners. This guy is getting to wrestle with Bilal Muhammad. He's getting to strike with guys like Charlie Radke and Yair Rodriguez. He's at a phenomenal gym with phenomenal coaches. So shout out VFS, Valley Flow Striking. I think it's a great gym, and it's going to be interesting. This fight is such a good fight. And I'm really kind of happy to have no money on it and to let that one play out and watch it as a fan and learn about these guys going forward. Forrest Daniels in the room saying, oh, smash that like button. Do it. Volkan in the room saying, oh, what is up, Volkan? We got sport fans in the room saying, man, that Bruno Ferreira is really tempting. Since I can only put money lines I like Joshua Van, Huffy, Gaethje. You have any pretty good money line parlays? Also, is Ankalaev by ground and pound at plus 900 good odds. I like that because his KO prop is plus 360, but I think that he's just as likely to finish it on the mat as he is on the feet. So yeah, I like 900 for ground and pound. We got Joshua saying Unk is live. What's up, Josh? We got Terry saying, let's go, Weezy. What's up, Terry? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got Tehran saying Josh Van is just a good volume puncher. He doesn't really have the power. I see him winning by a unanimous decision. He's got power, Tehran. He's got big power. Just because you're not knocking out Edward Chairez, just because you're not knocking out Cody Durden, because you're not knocking out Kevin Borjas or Charles Johnson, it doesn't mean that you're not going to knock out Ray Saruya. He's getting piped on site, Tehran. Look at the picture. I mean, like when they let you bring a pipe like that in the cage, you're getting knocked out. So I think he's going to get that knockout, but I am also on just the flat out money line for Van as well. We got Manny saying Justin versus Fiziev over 2.5 minus 122. Both are hard to finish, and the last fight went the distance. Manny, I'm right there with you. That's why it's in the parlay, man. I think it's a great bet this week. Terry saying Huffy first round KO. I'm with you there. I think that's probably the most likely result here. Joe Free in the room saying, Weezy, is Van your favorite bet of the night? Or so you have another you like more? I greatly appreciate you, Weezy. And as I always say, your analysis is second to none. Let's stack this week. Yes, I would say that Van is my favorite money line bet of the week. Shortly right after that is going to be Magomed Ankalaev at plus money or right around even money. And then right after that, I would say is Amanda Lemos at about plus 120, plus 125. Those are my three favorite money line bets of the week, Joe. Thanks for hanging out. We got Raj in the room saying Lemos sub round 3. I would love that. I would love that. I'd cash a Lemos money line bet, and I'd cash the fight doesn't go to decision. So I hope you're right about that. We got Bullish Bear in the room saying a girl fight inside the distance. Believe it when I see it. Well, it's happened so many times, you guys. Like if you look right here on my probability UFC stats and content package, you get an analytics tab here, you guys. So 3-round fights. Women's strawweight, 31.77% finish inside the distance. That's 95 fights, and 31% of them have finished inside the distance. So it happens over 30% of the time. But in Amanda Lemos fights, you're talking about, let me just find that here, that information on the betting template. With Lemos, 5 of her 8 fights, as you can see right there, have finished inside the distance, and it's 1 of 5 for Lucindo. So about 46% of their combined 13 fights at the UFC level that have been scheduled for 3 rounds have finished inside the distance. So yeah, I like the violence bet here. And remember, we're only paying about 35% on the money line. We got Samart in the room saying I got Huffy by KO. Bahamondes versus Turner under 2.5 on parlay, and then you got Lemos as a single. I like it. I think that those all hit. Manny saying Roofy double chance KO or submission. That's the Roofy inside the distance prop. And Justin versus Fiziev over 2.5 are my favorites so far. I like both of those. I think that's a fantastic play, Manny. Swinger in the room, my guy. There he is, fraternity brother of mine, saying, Uncle Weezy, which fighter this weekend will come out of their fight looking like Terry Funk in a barbed wire match? So which one of these guys is going to come out looking like an absolute bloody mess? It's going to probably be Bobby Green, or it's going to be somebody in that Turner Bahamondes fight. Somebody's just going to come out with their face completely rearranged. And because Alex Morono is so white, he's incredibly white, I think that if Carlos Leal absolutely pipes this dude on sight, that he's going to look really bad with all that red blood pouring down his milky white complexion. So I could see Alex Morono looking like Terry Funk in a barbed wire match there. Good to see my guy, the Swinger, hanging out there. There's a picture of me with my guy Al in that one there. Gotta love it. We got Silky B saying, get it, Weezy. What is up, Silky B? Good to see you hanging out. We got Don Boone saying, hard to go against Turner. Bahamondes will find a way. It's going to be a great fight. And we got Raj saying that he thinks that the under 2.5 hits all day. We got Gary Copeland in the room saying, oh, what is up? Everybody's favorite referee, built like a brick shit house. This guy could probably bench press like 500 pounds and squat a bus, but he stops fights a little bit too early. Gary Copeland, though, you can never say that the guy is not concerned about fighter safety, because he does not like to see these guys getting their heads pounded through the canvas. Shout out Gary Copeland. Good to see you hanging out in here, brother. We got Don Boone saying on the mark insight on Fiziev Weezy. We'll see if he makes me look like a complete prick tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes, man. It's MMA. Crazy shit happens. We got James saying, okay, I'm back. I kicked that fire hydrant's ass. You took it down, dude? What are you doing, man? You shouldn't be trying to take down fire hydrants. You're a tougher man than I. And we got my guy Avery in the room, Avery Morono at MMA_very on Twitter, on the X, as the kids call it. And he's saying, oi, what is up, Avery? I can't wait to see. So is it Ankalaev and Lemos that you're parlaying, or is it Pereira and Lemos? Let us know, because we got to like up that parlay to try to get 25% of the profits. Giga Chad saying Pereira will look like Bigfoot Silva when it's done. I love it. Don Boone saying, I'm with you. Ankalaev, Pereira's been having on a fun tour and could get clipped. Yeah, they've been protecting him against grapplers. Ozzy Diaz is so shit, though. Dude, I have no money on that fight, Raj. I have no money on that fight. I'm going to enjoy it as a fan. I don't have a good read on it, and I had a hard time picking somebody to win that fight. Joe saying, I'm so hurt to hear you're on Ankalaev. I'm on Poetan, but hey, one of us will cash. That's right. Unless there's a draw or a no contest, one of us will cash. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Every other pick of yours I agree with. Let's get it, Weezy. You know, and let's be clear about that fight. You know, if Pereira hits you with that left hook, it's over. It's over. So it's not like I'm sitting here pounding the table going, Ankalaev is going to destroy this dude, because Pereira obviously has paths to victory here. He's a phenomenal striker. So, you know, all of that stuff is going to be completely on board. You know, the Pereira knockout is live. We got my guy, the General, in the room taking notes. What's up, Alex? We got Teron Brown saying, as much as I like Alex P., he didn't look great in this fight. He lost 2 rounds. Yeah, he did. He did against Roundtree. Van is a great call, says Don Boone. Appreciate you, man. Ank should be minus 500. That'd be wild if he looked minus 500. But that's one of the things about this fight, Robert, is that I think if Magomed fights smart, he could. I was saying earlier in the week that I think he could look minus 300 if he goes out there and wrestles. So we'll see. James saying, didn't Turner open up as a favorite? He might have. I think he did. Yeah. He opened up as a minus 210 favorite, immediately went to minus 120, and then went from there, has just been sitting around to pick him. So he opened up minus 210, though. We got Sanders saying, isn't Ankalaev by sub super live? Ain't getting much love, but Poetan sub defense should still be super weak. No. Well, I said that Iwan Kutalaba didn't even know how to spell sub, because he had something like over 20 fights and had never even attempted a submission at the UFC level. And then he went out there and he subbed Ibo Aslan with an arm triangle. But let me be clear about Magomed Ankalaev's submission game here. He's attempted 0 submissions per 15 minutes over a 14-fight UFC sample size. Magomed Ankalaev has not only never won a fight by submission, not in the UFC, not as a professional, but he's never even attempted a submission, Sander. So I would hate for this to be the second straight week. Well, I mean, I think it was 2 weeks ago when we had Kutalaba, but that I said that, you know, there's no way that this guy is going to get a submission, and then he goes out there and he gets a submission. But I really do, you know, when I see somebody that's had that long of a career and has spent, you know, about a third of his cage time in control time positions where he could be going for subs, Ankalaev seems a lot more comfortable being a position over submission grappler and using his ground and pound to either finish fights or score points. So, yeah, I would rather play Ankalaev by KO, Sander. Greenbat is in the room saying, what's up, Weezy? Best fighter to win by KO, sub, and best underdog. Best underdog, Lemos, in my opinion. Best fighter to win by knockout, Josh Van. Best fighter to win by submission would be... I will say Ignacio Bahamondes or Jalen Turner. I think there's a high percentage chance that if that fight finishes, it's going to be some kind of a club and sub type of submission. So whoever you have winning that fight, if you got Bahamondes winning it, Greenbat, Bahamondes by sub. If you got Turner winning it, Turner by sub. We got Terry saying, let's go. We got Remora saying, let's go. We got Don Boone saying, phenomenal ass shaving. I couldn't agree more. We got Remora saying, can't wait for tomorrow. Taking advantage of the pipings, the milkings, and the ass shavings. We're having fun here, dude. We got BKZ saying, easy peasy lemon squeezy Weezy. What is up, BKZ? We got Shashwat saying, Uncle Weezy, how do you like the under 2.5 in the Turner fight and the over 3.5 in the main event? I like the unders in the main event. And for the Turner fight, I guess I like the under 2.5 more than I like the over 2.5. Does Justin Roth fight starts round 3 at -195 sound good? That does sound good to me, Zeus Spaced. I think that hits as well, and I think you could put that in there, same as the over 2.5 rounds. Mike saying, what do you think about adding Amanda Lemos to the 4-leg parlay since she's a pretty confident pick? Yeah, man, that's going to fatten it up quite a bit. It'll get it to something like 10-1 probably, and then if you boost it, it'll be even more than that. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I think Lemos is winning. Jake Haddock asking what my favorite DFS plays are. So I always like, Ankalaev would be one of my favorite plays this week. Josh Van would be one of my favorite plays this week because I think he's going to win and win inside the distance. In terms of the big favorites, I'd like to get guys that are going to have some grappling upside, and there's not a lot there because I can't guarantee Blaydes is going to wrestle. Yeah, I think you can get some good value on guys like Ankalaev, Turner or Bahamondes. Whoever wins that fight is going to score well. I like Lemos this week. I like Van this week. I like maybe Castaneda. This is a tricky week for DFS because I don't think there's a lot of high-priced fighters that I like right now. But those are some of the spots that I like. We got Grateful Dude in the room saying, "Oi!" We got Kong's Clips saying, "Finally, I caught a live stream." Oi! What's up, Kong's Clips? We got Damare Sim saying, "If I ever seen Ankalaev wrestle when he was supposed to, it would have been a max bet from me. But instead, it's just a timid long shot parlay." I get it, dude. I get it. It's hard to trust this guy. I got Bahamondes knocking out Turner. That guy is a sniper on the feet. Yes, he is. And Turner's got bad striking defense. I love Bruno Ferreira in a 50-50. Okay, there you go. We got Zachary saying, "Oi, let's get these flapjacks. Let's get it, man." We got Yes Freak saying Scottsdale, Arizona treadmill team has arrived. Ayo, easy. Let's go. Welcome to Scottsdale, Arizona. We got David Lembas saying this card might bring one of the best fights in a long time. Oh, yes, there's going to be some really good ones on this card. Juan is saying, I faded Van last time, and now I know he's a dog and deserves the money online. Dude, I agree. The guy is really tough to take down and hold down right now. Paul's saying, Illinois, it's just a bunch of flatlanders. There is a mountain, Chestnut Mountain, I used to ski at as a kid over by Galena, right on the Illinois-Iowa border. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Dubuque, Iowa, right there is Chestnut Mountain. So there is a mountain somewhere in Illinois, but it is mostly just flatlands. Yes, it is. Cody saying, "Love you, Uncle." What's up, Cody? Good to see you hanging out in here. Sam saying, My sports book doesn't have over 1.5 for the first leg. What would you substitute? I wouldn't mind the Armin Petrosyan money line. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, if you can't get those alternate overs, because one of the other legs I was going to put in there was fight starts round 3 for Blaydes versus Kuniev. But if you can't get the over 1.5 for the Morono fight, you're not going to be able to get that either. So I would say maybe the Armin Petrosyan money line, or the fight doesn't go to decision for Turner versus Bahamondes. I think those would be the legs that I think are they hit. Or if you're more comfortable with a Mauricio Huffy inside the distance, or Huffy by KO, I think those are also good looks this week, Sam. Justin Gaethje kind of threw shots at Hooker at the press conference and asked who's a tougher fighter, Fiziev or Hooker, and he said Fiziev. Yeah, I would say that too, because Fiziev's sitting right there. Well, Gaethje must have seen an easy path to a victory over Hooker. Maybe he did, man. I don't know. But, it's hard to be really confident after the last knockout. Damn it, that should be Gaethje versus Hooker tomorrow. It would have been a better fight, I think. We got real fight picks saying I'm taking a chance on Rizvan Kuniev. What's your honest first thought about that? I think it's dog or pass on the money line, honestly. This guy Kuniev's pretty good, dude. He's pretty good. So I think that taking a chance on Big Riz is not a bad idea. I think that they don't give you a top 5 opponent in your UFC debut and they see something. And I think they see something in Big Riz, and I think he's going to be live to keep this fight close. TH in the room saying, "Oi!" We got Mad Mardigan in the room saying, "Weezy the GOAT." What's up, Mad Mardigan? We got Tehran. Just found Alex Morono was of Mexican descent. He's a Texas guy, I could see that being the case. Paul Vivert saying Gary Copeland built like a brick dog house. Yeah, he is, man. Dude's fucking strong, man. Shashwat Raj in the room saying, how do you like Leal under 2.5 parlayed with Van KO or decision? I like it. I like it. But I'd rather play Leal over 1.5. So the over 1.5 includes the decision. So then you just have to worry about Leal getting a knockout or a submission in the first 7.5 minutes. I'd rather parlay the Leal to win and over 1.5 rounds, which, by the way, on Bet Rivers, that's minus 127. So you could get Van by KO decision. Let me see here. Methods. We have the double. No, we don't have that. White parlays. Like maybe that's it. No. Yeah, you might have to. You can't do that. But I mean, I would just do Van because the KO decision probably isn't much worse than the money line. But I would do that with the Van money line to get plus 183 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. That's a really good one. Ramora is saying if Magomed wins, we need Magomed versus Kudalaba 3. They tried to make that fight like 10 times. You have no idea how many times that fight got canceled during COVID. It was so bad. We got Raj saying, I think the Blaydes fight goes over 2.5 as well. I agree. I got Blaydes by decision, Raj. Henry's cringe in the room saying, let's go. What is up, dude? We got Olajuwon saying, goddamn work getting in the way, LOL. I think Justin's going to make a statement tomorrow by getting a quick finish. I hope not, man, because I got him by decision, and I've got the over 2.5 in this parlay. So, Weezy, Justin Gaethje, Bahamondes, and Magomed, three-leg money line. I think that's a pretty fat number, and I think that if it hits, you're going to be really happy, and I think that all three of those fighters can win those fights. I mean, the show on Wednesday, says Olajuwon. Yeah, man. God, I wish I had time to do more content, but I just don't. D Spearman saying, Uncle Weezy, my birthday is tomorrow. Been off work all week, and I'll be off work all next week. Blessings. Happy birthday, D Spearman. I hope it's an awesome one for you tomorrow. And what better way to celebrate a birthday than by stacking cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 313. So good luck on your bets, man. Enjoy watching the fights and enjoy your birthday, man. It's really good to have another one of those. Teron Brown saying, Southern Illinois is kind of hilly. It has a lot of cultural similarities to the American South. Yeah, Illinois is a big state, dude. About 5.5 hours to get down there from Chicago. William Del Bianco saying, no Chama, Ankalaev time. I agree with you, man. Juan is saying, I would really like the King Green as a fighter, but I can't bet the fight because I think he's going to lose. I agree. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for him. Southern Illinois reminds me of the South. Nothing is really Midwest about that part of the state. Yeah, I'm sure it is. You're right there by Kentucky and Missouri and Indiana. Yeah, there's a lot of, and Tennessee, even just a little bit south of Kentucky. It's the South, man. This is the third time I've had more than 20 units at risk. These are the cards that stress me out, dude. Yeah, dude. Well, you strike when the iron's hot and you see something you like, you might as well play it, dude. And Shajwat saying, my chalky moonshot parlay, Van KO decision, Huffy KO, Gaethje versus Fiziev over 2.5, Turner Bahamondes under 2.5, Blaydes versus Kuniev over 2.5, and then Ankalaev by KO or decision, a nice 6-legger. That I agree with all of those. So, yeah, man, good luck to you. If that hits, then my picks are going to be pretty good this week. So I hope that hits, Raj. But I appreciate all 305 of you guys that were hanging out live with us today. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment down below. And please consider joining the Odds Shopper. The $25 a month, you can get 20% off your first month's membership. Click the link in the description of this video. It's going to get you access to everything that I do every week, which is an absurd amount of work and information that's going to help you make better decisions and be a better long-term UFC gambler. So check out that membership. Best way to support my work. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. And let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 313. God bless each and every one of you. And then we will see you on Sunday night for Stat Diggers, where we're going to find out what's going on with UFC Vegas 104, which is going to be next week's card. And I just got those stats out to the people on the Odds Shopper. So if you want access to that stats package, hit me up and get you signed up to the Odds Shopper and get you 20% off your first month's membership. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Good luck betting the fights, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care.